and welcome to another Hi, and welcome to another Fireside Chat. My name is Julie Hollinger. I am the Programs Manager at the PMFRC, and it's great to have you all join us. I am here with Ashley Rendell-Dolman and Annie Beaudoin. They are both working with our Navigator team here at the PMFRC. For those of you who have been around in Petawawa for a while, you will know that if you are facing anything related to a deployment, our Navigator team should be your first stop for all those questions that you might have to point you in the right direction. So they're both here to talk about deployment services and specifically a workshop that we have coming up to help families get ready for a deployment that they may have in their future. We are also here with Derek DeRuiter, who co-hosts these Fireside Chats, and we always give him the first word in these sessions to talk about what's new and what's happening at the PMFRC. So Derek, over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Julie. So first, I hope everybody had a chance to enjoy some family time over the March break. I know I did, so I'm glad to be back and back at these. So I just want to share, as I usually do, a few things that are upcoming, or mention a few upcoming programs that we've got going on. First one I think I need to touch on for sure is that April is Month of the Military Child. So this is the month where we do this yearly, but we recognize the strength and resilience of our children from military families. So for that, once again, we'll have different events going on, but the main one is our Teal Up Family Day event. So we usually do that on April 24th. Well, this year, sorry, we're doing that on April 25th from 4 to 7 at the South Side. There'll be activities for children, opportunities to learn more about our services and support for military children and their families, as well as, again, we'll be doing pizza and treats as well. So that's pretty popular. There'll be more information upcoming on that, and I think we'll probably have one of these to speak about it eventually. But I thought I'd bring that one up. Don't forget about our Discover Your Community Bingo that's ongoing now. That's running this month in March, and make sure you get your card completed and submitted back to us by the end of the month, March 31st. We have our walk-in clinics that are ongoing. There's one tonight, actually, at the South Side, and they'll run on April 2nd and 16th, and we alternate between the Wellness Center and the Community Center on the South Side. Our Play Troop has some new programming that's coming up in April that I've been informed of. So we have a tot time that's coming for 0 to 18-month-olds. And I believe we're doing a nursery rhyme time as well. So look out for information for those that are upcoming in April. And then the last one I'll mention, and we will have another one of these, I believe, in regards to it, is our Release and Redefine event, which is our VFP Family Forum that we did previously. That's coming up on May 27th. So it's going to focus on connecting our medically releasing CAF members and their families with key service providers to learn about resources and help that they can get while they're going through that journey. So more information to come on those, and Julie will share the links as always for all of them as well. Thanks, Julie.
It is a very busy time of year at the PMFRC and in this community going into deployment season, but also outside of that. So I would recommend that continue following the PMFRC Facebook page. It's a great way to keep up to date about upcoming events. And I'm also going to share a link to subscribe to our newsletter. It goes out once a month and it lists all of the things that are coming up, has all the links you need to sort of click through and sign up on the spot. So I'll also put that down there, and I would really encourage you to subscribe to that. We only send you one message a month. We're not going to fill your inbox with all sorts of things PMFRC, but it's a great way to sort of keep touch of all the upcoming events, specifically Teal Up Day and a lot of the things that we're doing for a Month of the Military Child, because we have a lot of things, really exciting things planned to celebrate military kids in our community. One of the things that military kids deal with that maybe other children may not have a chance to experience is the issue of deployment. Deployment season is hot and heavy at Petawawa. People are talking about it, thinking about it, getting ready for it. And that is no exception at the PMFRC as we are working with families. And one of the things we wanted to do to make it a little easier for you to get all the information you need one evening, one place, is setting up this Deployment Readiness workshop. So Ash, you can tell us a little bit about what is the workshop. We talked about what it is and where it is, but also like what are the, what can people expect if they're going to be signing up? What's the format? What should people know about?
Yeah, so excuse me, like you mentioned, it's happening at the Southside Community Center. It's happening next Thursday, March 27th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Doors will be open at about 5:45 so people can get situated. And the purpose of this workshop is a one-stop kind of take what you need information-wise for families. We often get feedback in terms of what people have questions about and that they would really like to be able to talk one-on-one with some PMFRC staff and just work through some of those questions that come up preparing for deployment. So we'll have a portion that will be mental health. They'll be speaking, they'll be doing a little bit of deployment prep, emergency threshold kind of talk. And then following their presentation, we're going to have stations set up from multiple PMFRC staff that will have areas of focus that people can kind of, like I said, take what they need. So there's emergency family care plan support with Angie, who will be there to answer any questions and problem solve through that. We know that that can sometimes be a big barrier in just like how to navigate and figure out what's the right thing to put on these forms. We'll also have sections with our navigators who will have examples of more of our physical deployment resources, such as our family readiness binder, also offering a chance to chat on how to fill that out and what might be appropriate for them. Not necessarily every section needs to be complete to the T. But again, having that chance to like chat with someone one-on-one through it, as well as seeing an example of other resources we offer, like deployment walls, and being able to kind of figure out what would work best for families. Our mental health team will be there to chat about those supports that are available while someone's deployed, and any upcoming workshops, and information services as well, with some morale mail information. So it's, again, kind of like if you have questions about one specific thing, you can come and just get information on that, or you can hit every table and walk away with a ton of information. We like to also say that maybe not every section is necessarily super relevant to you, but because deployment is so present in all families kind of right now, it might not be relevant for you, but your neighbor might have a question about it, and you might know the answer to that question now from attending. So yeah, take what you need is kind of the format and the idea of it. There's also going to be sections for kid-friendly activities, so hopefully parents can be a little bit more engaged in that problem-solving conversation piece, know that their kids are busy with, like, you know, Lego, coloring, crafts, like all of that kind of stuff, to keep them occupied during it as well.
And we know from experience, well, we've been doing a lot of briefings in the last couple of weeks for members and talking about different services for the PMFRC, but we ourselves know as military family members, and also talking to military family members, that them getting ready for deployment, the things that are in their head are very different than what's maybe in your partner's head and your kid's head. So even though you have been to a briefing, maybe you've come back and you've told your partner about some of the information that you've got, they may have other questions, and maybe this is the opportunity for them to sort of get the answer to that. And it's also the opportunity for them to ask the questions that maybe you wouldn't have thought about. Annie, who should attend this session? Who's going to benefit from coming out and chatting with us and getting this? Some people are here going through deployment for the first time, but I mean, maybe you've done it before. Is there still something for you to learn?
There's one thing that we learn in Petawawa especially, is that if you're part of a military family, you're either in pre-deployment, during deployment, or post-deployment. You're in the deployment cycle somewhere, that's for sure. And then the PMFRC has support for every step of the way. Right now, the big focus is pre-deployment. And then, like Julie said, the members are working hard and doing their own prep. But I strongly suggest that the family take that time to also do their own prep. And this will be perfect to do that. One other thing that I want to say about the PMFRC is that to access services, any type of services, not just this workshop, but any type of services, you don't need to be with your member. You can come and say, I'm a military family. I don't need a deployment paper to confirm that you're going, or anything like that, to access our resources. So to be honest, I welcome everyone. It doesn't matter if it's your first one or your 10th one. They're all different. Seasons are different. Seasons in your life are different. And you can always learn and grow. And then, you know, if you get in a line and you chat with someone that it's their first one, and maybe you're going to be able to encourage them because they're maybe a little bit more nervous because it's their first time. So, you know, please come and share information with people, or just like see if there's anything new. We often hear like, oh, that would have been nice when I had my first deployment, or things like that. And the thing I want to say about this is that, yeah, like the staff here, we learn on these things. And there's a reason we do like feedback forums and stuff, is that we always want to change and grow to make sure that we support your families and what they need. So if there's something that your first, second, third deployment, you wish you would have seen, come and share that with us. And then maybe the next one that it's their first deployment, we'll get that. So that's how we grow. That's how we change. So anybody's welcome. It doesn't matter if if you're a civilian and you have friends in the military community and you want to learn a little bit more about what it is, come and join us. we'll answer those questions as well. If you're a teacher and you want to have a little bit more information for the children and, you know, the upcoming kids in deployment support group in the school for next year, come, we'll talk about that too. There's no wrong door, we say, but this one is a great one to start for sure, because there's a lot of resources and information I'm going to share. So just come.
Picking up on that about topics and resources we're sharing, Ashley, you touched on some of the topics we're going to be going over. Are there any other topics that you want to talk about that people that we might be addressing on the night of that people would be interested in? Well, of course they're going to be interested, that people should know about.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, mental health is going to start out. Two of our clinicians are going to be speaking on managing stress, talking about emergency thresholds within a family and how that differs per family, and just understanding, you know, how are you going to define an emergency in your family? What does that look like? Who are you going to call? And navigating that to kind of help set families up for success and managing that stress. Because as many military spouses know, Murphy's Law kicks in the second that that person is across the ocean. So, you know, that preparedness piece is really what they're trying to get across. So that'll be their topic for their presentation. And then, yeah, in terms of like navigators are going to be having a lot of examples of supports that we can offer that are physical resources, but as well, again, just having the opportunity to connect, to put faces to names, to know, like if you come into the South Side, I think I spoke to Ashley last time, that kind of thing can help ease a lot of stress. Or again, if you're referring someone, if you think of like your neighbor might need to come and chat with somebody, being able to provide a name can sometimes often just like quell a lot of stress. And then Angie, like I mentioned, will be there to kind of talk through some questions, logistics with families on their emergency family care plan, and how that works with the family care plan and how those two things work together. And she's really great at that. So if you're not sure who to put on that form or like what to fill out on there, she's excellent. She's seen it all. So she can definitely help you find an answer to that question. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, we'll also have the kids stations as well with some crafts, some Lego, and like more tactile stuff for kids that appeals to and they're not interested in drawing. And I can't remember if I mentioned it, but there will be some food, which food is always a positive. Not dinner per se, but snacks, light refreshments, you know, to hold over those hangry children if it's starting to get to the end of the night. So yeah, there's something for everybody.
Annie, if people want to get more information about this or if they wanted to register, I want to sort of talk to you about that, but I also, if you could sort of talk about what if they're looking at the dates and like, I have hockey, baseball, Cubs, soccer that night and can't make it, but really need this information. Are we doing this type of thing again? So all of those sort of topics, how do we sign up? How do we get that information? And what if I can't make it on the 27th?
Definitely. So first question, we always try to make it better or easy for anybody. So if it's easier for you to talk to someone on the phone, you can call the South Side and then be asked to talk to a navigator. You can send the navigators an email and say, I'm interested in that. The main registration form will be on our website. Easy link. It's going to be in the description box. It's going to be there. You just click there, fill out the registration form, and then we'll know you're coming. If you can register, that's the best way because we, again, have like little refreshments and things. So we have to make sure we have enough for everyone. So please do that. But if it's last minute, you're not sure if the hockey is going to go or not, and you want to stop by, please do. We're more than happy to have you. However, we also understand that a one-stop shop for all is not always the best, so it's not always easy. So what we decided to do is like, this one is our first one right now to get ready for this deployment, or the next one in December if you're a very eager prep person that wants to start now, absolutely. Next month we'll have a virtual option. So some people, even if we have little activities for children, they don't want to have their children with them. So it's easier to have them at home, like beside them instead. We'll have that. Also easier if you have extended families or you're on IR or you have like a mom that's really interested, but she lives too far away. Virtual would be the best. So April, we'll have a virtual one. Then May, we'll have another in person. And then June, we'll have another virtual. So Facebook is great. Newsletter, if you can register, is great for all those dates. But we got you. And if all of those dates do not work for you, You just have to book an appointment with one of the navigator, and then we'll go through all of that with you on a one-on-one basis. We want you to be the best ready for this deployment or the next one, and we'll do everything we can to meet you where you are and then where your needs are.
I was also thinking, Annie, we have a deployment newsletter that goes out to families who experience a deployment, and all the information is deployment related. It goes out once per quarter. If this is something in your future, either in June or in December, that deployment newsletter is a great way to keep on track with some of those things. So I'll also share that link if you want to sign up for that deployment newsletter. It's a great opportunity. And I want to pick up on what Annie said. So often we think about military families and we think about the partner and the kids, but there's so many other people in that extended group, parents who are just as worried and just as concerned and have just as many questions. Please feel free to sign up either for this one or for the virtual sessions. If you don't live in the Petawawa area, and you want the information, come to the session and then we can help you find an MFRC in your area to support you there as well. So please don't let that be a barrier. I'm not in Petawawa, I can't sign up. Absolutely you can. We would love to chat with you. Does anybody have anything else before we sign off?
It's not easy. I know it's not easy. It's a big one, and then most of the garrison will be gone in the next year for sure. So pretty much everybody's affected about the deployment, but you're not alone. You'll never be alone. You just have to reach out. The only thing I'm going to say is that we're not in nobody's head. We don't know what's going on. We don't know if you need support. We will do warm calls to reach out and see, but to do warm calls, we need your information. To have your information, the member has to give it to us when they DAG. They'll know what that means. If you say, did you DAG with the MFRC, they'll know what that means. Without that, we can't reach out. So make sure that all the paperwork is done on the member side. And then if you're not sure, and then you want to make sure we do a warm call, again, reach out and then we'll make sure that you get it.
Annie, Ashley, Derek, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about this workshop. Thank you to everyone who's listening. And as Annie said, please don't hesitate to call. It makes us crazy when we hear about people who have struggled all the way through a deployment and said to us afterwards, I would have reached out, but I wasn't sure, or maybe you were helping other people, or please don't sit there and not reach out for those services. Make the phone call. We can help you, point you in the right direction. If you don't feel comfortable coming to a workshop, we will figure out what's going to work for you and for your family. But please do reach out. All of our contact information is going to be below. Thank you all for joining us and have a great day. Bye.